Property tax relief is important. Both sides agree on that, but there's plenty of disagreement on how to make it happen. Joining us on Face the State this morning, Senate President Martin Loony, who is proposing what he feels is a fair plan to shift the tax burden. And Republican Minority Leader Senator Kevin Kelly explains why he feels the plan would punish many homeowners. Thank you for joining us on Face the State.
Good morning.
Senator Kelly, or I want to start with Senator Loony. This is your proposal. I know this is something that everyone feels is not a good situation when it comes to property taxes. Why do you feel that having a state property tax will put things on a more fair level?
Well, first thing, Susan, is that it is important to achieve property tax reform because it's the most unfair, most inequitable. And what I am proposing is a way to fund what needs to be done to make the payment in lieu of taxes funding that the state provides to municipalities for tax-exempt state property, college and hospital property, a way to pay for that in a way that would make it more equitable and provide greater relief. And as I see it, there are four ways to do that. One would be having a progressive statewide property tax with a significant exemption, whether it be $430,000 or $750,000 or $1 million. A second would be to raise the state income tax at the marginal level on the wealthiest, or to have a separate tax on capital gains income. That would be another way to do it. Another way would be to deal with the fact that we have deferred for several years a commitment made a few years ago to siphon off part of the revenue from the sales tax for municipal aid. But however it's done, it's important for us, I think, to recognize that there are many communities in the state that are burdened. We have some communities like Greenwich where the net grant list per capita is $734,000. At the other extreme is New Britain, where it's less than $50,000. It's really unsustainable, and we have to find a way to equalize the property tax burden in the state.
Senator Kelly, I understand that one of the contentious parts of this is that how we decide who wealthy homeowners are. I mean, I understand the threshold is what, a $430,000 house, but that's not necessarily indicative of someone who makes a lot, or a homeowner who has a lot of money, right?
By all means, this is a tax on the middle class. This is not just exclusive to Greenwich. This is every community throughout our state. And we want to bring relief, but relief is usually a reduction to reduce the financial burden on Connecticut homeowners, not a tax to increase that burden, which in essence this does. And what's particularly onerous is that the tax would be levied against our homes, and the money would go to Hartford. It's not going to stay in our local communities. It's not going to help our local neighborhood. It's going to be pulled out of our communities and sent to Hartford to then redistributed throughout the state of Connecticut. And that's what's particularly, onerous about this tax, is it takes the money from the middle class and puts it somewhere else.
Senator Loony, can you respond to that? I mean, should people in some of the suburbs be taxed more so that those in our cities where there isn't a lot of home ownership and property taxes get a break?
Well, funding the the payment in lieu of taxes program at a greater level, as I propose, having the neediest communities get 50% reimbursement instead of about 25 or less that it is now, the middle range 40, and the third at about 30%, would give significant relief not only to cities, but also to many suburban communities that also have tax-exempt property. Almost every community has at least some state property, only a smaller number have college and hospital property. But by recognizing that burden for tax-exempt property and putting $114 million into that program to create that greater equity will benefit many communities around the state. So if we happen to go with the approach of the statewide property tax, most of those people would be seeing a break ultimately in their property taxes through the pilot reimbursement. So they said there are several ways to do it. That's one. Raising the income tax on the very wealthy is another. Having a separate capital gains tax is another, or apportioning part of the sales taxes we had planned to do several years ago, but has postponed is another. But however we do it, it's important to address property tax relief. Governor Lamont in 2018 said it was an important priority of his. So I believe it's time to move on it in this session.
Senator Kelly, before we go to break, what do you think the likeliness that this kind of legislation will pass? I mean, Republicans don't have a majority in either House or Senate. Do you think this will happen?
No, we don't have a majority. We don't have the votes. And that's why we're really concerned, is that the majority could move forward with this. And it just really doesn't make any sense that you have to levy a tax, give more money to Hartford, to get a tax break. That just is inconsistent. And let's be clear, this doesn't only affect homeowners, it's also going to be on commercial property. So it's not only going to raise taxes on middle class, but also kill jobs in the process. And at this time, in this economy, with this pandemic, it's just not a good idea.
I want to thank you both for joining us on Face the State. It is a hot topic, one that will be discussed, so stay tuned. Thank you.